Thanks for coming out tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank Larry Benson and his staff and for allowing us to do this here and for putting this on. And I do appreciate that. I appreciate you all coming out tonight, taking time out of your busy evenings to come out here and listen to me. And last of all, I say this for last because I like to beat on this the hardest, and that is the use of consultants. And the animal shelter was a perfect example of it. And you know, we've seen time and time again. One of the things that I never quite understood, and I used to go in and talk to Chief Bosch about this last year, talking about the realignment of the fire district and the stations, and how they were going to redistribute the workload of the firemen around the city. And he showed me this very nice report that had been put together by a consultant that had been hired to come in and do this for him. And my question to him was, you've been in how long you been in the fire service?
33 years.
Yeah. How long you been a chief?
12.
Yeah. Probably
13.
had a little bit of experience running fire departments in the past.
I've been
besides Tracy. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
You're really old.
Yeah, and I've run some fire departments for a while.
That's right. Yeah. You also been on some overpasses and everything else.
And overpasses and everything else. Yeah.
But this is something that I find common in the city, is that we hire some very well educated, very well experienced people in the careers and the occupations that they're hired into at the city. And I guess my question is, when we're hiring these people and paying them a lot of money to be the heads of our departments and be our city officials, why the heck are we hiring consultants to tell them how to do their jobs? And that's got to stop. That is a gross use of our tax dollars. And a perfect example was the issue with the shelter. Another example was this nice report that Chris gave me. It was all beautifully laid out and a lot of good recommendations in there. Probably most of those recommendations were recommendations that our own fire chief could have given us, or the people in his department that he entrusts to help him with those decisions. So, this kind of thing I think has got to stop. The knee-jerk reaction to an issue. If you bring an issue into city council, and whether it's people speeding in your neighborhood or dumping their junk in the street or whatever, and you want to see something done about it, I don't think that the knee-jerk reaction should be, okay, well, we're going to turn it over to a staff member, and then immediately from there, a staff member goes out and hires a consultant or tries to justify hiring a consultant to give them some input on these types of decisions. Doggone it, you were hired for a reason, and that's your job, and I think you should be making those kinds of decisions without the use of consultants. If it were something really big, I mean, if we were talking about, building an Eiffel Tower or something really huge here in Tracy that was, well beyond the scope of the people that we have here in the city, then yeah, I could see hiring a consultant for something like that. Or if we were taking on a baseball stadium or something that was something we'd never done before, something that was well beyond the scope of what the folks here in the city are capable of handling and making decisions on, sure, hire a consultant. But you know what? I don't think we need to hire a consultant to show us pictures of an animal shelter and show us how to build it when we can go out and we can see for ourselves and we can find out for ourselves. I don't think that we need consultants to tell our fire chief and our fire department where to put stations and how to run their department. Any more than the police department needs to have a consultant to come in and tell them how to take care of gang violence and crime issues here in the city. That's what we have. Our professional chiefs and captains and lieutenants as administrators, that's their job, that's their experience, and that's what they're educated in. And they should be better utilizing those people in our city. So that's pretty much the scope of my platform for this coming year. Do you have any questions?
So, just so I'm clear, Larry, you basically want staff to actually do their job?
Yeah, I think, and I don't think it's too much.
Just want to make sure I'm clear on that.
I don't think it's too much. I don't think it's too much to ask them to do their job, because that's what they were hired for. And if there was some misunderstanding at the time when they were hired as to what their responsibilities are, then maybe those need to be reclarified. But I really honestly believe that we need to start holding our city officials who are charged with these types of tasks and making these types of decisions to own up and start making them and start doing the job that they've been hired to do. And I personally don't have a problem doing that. And I can tell you that if faced with having to spend your tax dollars on a consultant to come in, and do somebody else's job for them, I would definitely knock that down and not be in favor of it. And especially when the time comes around. You know, at the last forum, at the last election, one of the questions that came up was, do you think that you would be capable of, when it comes time to make budget cutbacks, do you think you would be able to make those budget cutbacks as far as reducing the workforce at the city level? And my answer to that was, why are we already talking about making cutbacks? Why is the first thing that comes out of your mouth that the solution to this is cutbacks? You've already determined what the solution is. Why aren't we looking at other solutions? Why aren't we talking about what are ways that we can generate revenue? What are ways that we can bring money in to keep these people on board? Or what are ways that we can stop the dike from leaking and bleeding the money out that we could be using to keep these people employed? I think the thing that just blew me away more than anything was a young girl. I don't remember her name, but she was the crime scene technician. She was at one of the city council meetings, I think it was January. She was honored as City Employee of the Year, and she was laid off like 2 days later. Okay, so you know, how do you justify that? I mean, how do you honor somebody for being an outstanding employee and then cut them loose? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And you know, I don't even want to go into what was the criteria for that selection, but you know, it's again, it's an example of, you know, if money was better appropriated for our expenditures in the city, and we were using the talents and the qualifications of the people that we already have employed here, we shouldn't have to do that. And the solution should be to find a solution and not just use what's worked in the past, because it doesn't work. And I'm sure you all have heard that old saying about what the definition of insanity is, and that's when you do the same thing over and over and you get the same result out of it and you keep doing it. That's the definition of insanity. And I see this going on in our city government. So am I calling them insane? Well, I guess you might.
You're talking about.
I guess you might say so. You know, when you keep doing the same thing over and over and you expect the results to be different, there's something wrong. You need to find new solutions. And you know, I guess to wrap this up, you know, I've told people all along, you know, I don't look at running for city council as a way to go in and you know, just kind of mow down everybody in the process and kick ass and take names, if you want to put it in those terms. But because I believe that there are people here in our city government that are doing a good job, and you know, if they were allowed to do their job and given the latitude to do it, they would be doing it. So, you know, you can't blame city officials for not doing their jobs if they're not asked to do it and if they're not being encouraged to do it. And I don't want to make it sound as if I think the city council that we have here now is a bad city council, because I don't think it is. I think we have some very competent people on our city council. I think that we have some very competent people as city officials running our city. But I think that we need to make some changes, and I think that the need needs to be that we're focusing on solutions for the future. You know, it goes hand in hand with our own government. You know, people ask me all the time, are you Republican or Democrat? And my answer to that is, I don't know. Because I've registered Republican, I've registered Democrat, I voted both ways, and I really feel that I'm apartisan, because I don't believe that when you're looking for solutions, that you should be looking at solutions that are going to be satisfactory to a party or to a set of individuals. It's kind of like you know, when people accuse you of being in the back pocket of developers, it's no different. You know, as far as I'm concerned, if you're looking out for the interest of anybody who's a special interest, and by the way, anybody can be a special interest, you're not looking out for what the community really needs. And that's my goal, and that's my focus, is that we need to focus on solutions.